Hey guys, Dave here, and welcome back to another ad-free episode of FFBE War of the Visions. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different from the normal. This is not really aimed so much at the players, but more aimed at Gumi. Now, the objective here, as you can probably see just from the title, I've come up with some different ideas for new game modes to make the game more fun. So if you haven't already noticed, the only permanent feature in the game is the story. Everything else, it's just farming, but most of the farming stuff also is limited time, which is complete and utter garbage. So we need some more permanent content in the game. Gumi's also the producer of FFBE, which is one of the games that this was based off. And in that game, there were lots of hard trials. They added a bunch of different game modes. So I believe in order to keep this game fresh and keep players coming back for more, except for other than like new events and stuff like that, we need something more than just farming. Because quite honestly, it's about 99% auto farming right now, and like 1% actually playing the game. So we want to try to get more manual play, or at least play that's like fun to watch on auto or something like that. And I think more happy players are going to be more likely to spend, and it's a win-win situation for both Gumi and the players. So without further ado, let's jump in and look at several of the game modes that I've come up with. And then after the video, you guys can comment below what you think of my ideas, and I'd love to hear your ideas too. I want to try to get as many people to comment on this to try to get Gumi's attention. I'll also likely be doing a full recording and everything on Japanese and put it on the Japanese side so Square Enix can notice as well. Alright, so hard boss trials, this was something that was a staple in FFBE, like the screenshot I've put there below. You can see there's two Fraevas. I didn't really play Global, I played JP, but the Octopus Teacher, that was a really tough one when it came back in the Awakened form. But I think something that we need in this game is like a permanent trial with rewards. So the way I think it should work is consider infinite uses of skills for at least some of the boss fights, at least some of them. The reason I say that is because the way the game is designed now, it's not an endurance type thing. It's kind of like you go in, it's quick, and I think it's maybe too quick to enjoy like a hard boss fight. So they need to come up with something there where you can go again and again and again. All right. Number two, you defeat the bosses for rewards. So I don't expect these rewards to be like super awesome, but I expect it to be something maybe cool, like maybe an accessory that has okay stats that maybe gives you some confusion resistance, or maybe like a new magical staff that's halfway between Yastola's and a +5 platinum staff. It'll one, help new players, right? And then two, it's just like another thing you can equip without having to make a full +5. And just something to aim for, a new challenge. Number three, you can add new ones to go along with collaboration events and whatnot. So for example, in FFBE, when like the named Final Fantasies, for example, Final Fantasy Tactics is coming out soon. You could fight like one of the demon bosses from that. When Final Fantasy IV comes out, just make like a permanent hard trial for Galvez or something like that. Maybe you get bonus stats for the Final Fantasy IV units or slight bonus rewards. You can always work something in there, so Gumi can make a little bit more money, and players can enjoy it or something like that. And then finally, number four, allow online play with friends. Now you could do like a duo or a quad to defeat the boss. So I think this would be really fun too, but you wouldn't get the main item reward. You would just get crafting mats, other minor rewards, and maybe like a slight, a small Visior bonus just for completing it. But that's to give you the option to play with friends. Now, some people don't like playing online. and that's good, and that's why the rewards wouldn't be great, and you could rely on stronger characters to do it when you do it online as well, and that's why the rewards wouldn't be great. However, people who do like multiplayer games and playing with other people, that can greatly enhance the gaming experience. So for example, I've played Battlefield, World of Warcraft, games like that in the past. Now, when you play games like that, sometimes, like, even if the game content is kind of boring, if the people you're playing with are exciting, that can greatly boost your gaming experience. So never overlook the multiplayer experience. Okay, so although this is nothing new or game breaking or unique, these are 3 ideas for the previous slide that I think they could put in. So you have Iron Giant. I took the symbol from Odin, which means there's no element to him. So one boss with no elements, no spirit, no armor, but immune to all status effects. So you can't just stun him and cheese the fight. That would be stupid. So what would this do? It allowed all players to defeat the boss with the characters of their choice. So it's not like, oh my gosh, if you don't have Orlando, you're going to have a hard time with this. Oh, if you don't have a quad hit gunner, you're going to struggle with this. I think that's kind of and it really should be taken out of the game. Number 2, at least one boss with no chaining allowed. So Gumi, if you're listening, why are mages so gimp in this game? Magic doesn't chain. Element chains, so Mediana can chain Blizzard and get that Blizzard element chain, but magic itself doesn't chain, and there's no magic abilities that hit more than once. So why are physical attackers so much stronger in that aspect where they can chain and magic can't? One, that needs to be put in the game in the future in some way, shape, or form. Maybe when you go to 7 stars or something like that, or you increase the job board, give them a new limit break, something like that, then you can give all magic users like a chaining ability. But this boss here, this would give players the ability to use magical units on it and not have any disadvantage versus physical users because chains don't work. Okay, and in fact, magical users might have a slight advantage because some of their attacks can hit a little harder. Okay, and then finally, one boss that actually requires a tank. So right now it's just a DPS race, it's a chain race, it's steal time or slow the boss. It's all about haste, slowing the boss, stopping the boss, and chaining. And why do we even have tanks in the game, really? So let's give tanks an actual use, since they really need one. I mean, in PvP, in the tower, they can have a little bit minimal effect with their hate, but every character builds hate. And some of the problems with this game, no matter how high your hate is, if your character detects that it can one-shot, or let's say this, you're in arena, on the left side you have a character that's a tank, but on the same left side, the enemy character determines that it can one-shot Ayaka because it has Wind Killer. So it's going to completely ignore your tank and go right for that unit. That's how the AI is designed. Or the unit on the right side, the enemy, it's not within a certain number of squares of the character that has the hate, so it's going to ignore that character. So in an event like this, the hate would be supreme, it would trump everything else, and the boss would go for that. And basically, if you don't have that tank, that Engelbert using Sentinel or Saintly Wall or whatever like that, then it would basically one-shot your non-tank units or something like that. So something that requires a tank, requires a healer, and really will allow you to get the most out of those tank units. Alright, so Wooden Man, if any of you have played FFBE, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. It's basically a test dummy, and you can take your characters in and do stuff. However, it would be nice if you could set the number of turns, and you could set the stats. Like I could edit the spirit, the defense. So basically I could mimic a certain raid boss that's coming up, see what my chaining ability would be and whatnot. So I could set the number of turns etc. Like if I only have, let's say, one Lucia and I'm going up against a pudding, then I could take in like one Lucia and maybe one steal time or something like that, and then set it to like, I don't know, like 40 turns or something like that to simulate fighting that boss. It would allow you to test your top damage, see how much certain abilities would do against weaknesses on other units. It would add a lot of cool testing capability to the game. And I know you've given us mock guild battles and whatnot. It'd be nice if we also had mock arena. But yeah, I think this would be nice overall just to test each character's capabilities. I know on JP they had the class matches in the free tournament section, but it was a complete joke because the point value that they gave you meant you could do all UR everything except like one MR card or something like that. So it's like, what was the point of that? I didn't understand it. But something like this, like a monthly free match tournament, you'd have certain limitations, like you'll have a missile bonus time. Then when you win, you can get like the same type of stuff, like seals, hammers, a little bit of Visior, a few crafting items. Nothing major, but just something to give you some incentive. Rank would work the same way as Arena. You could do 5 matches per day for a week, and then your score would be based solely on your remaining number of characters, the life that you had, and the turns remaining. And you could make it, Gumi, so people can buy some refreshes or maybe give them a couple refreshes or something like that. But I think it would be a more genuine experience if it was just straight up work with what you had and whatnot. And then obviously because it's free match, you would have to be in like a stable internet environment before doing this. And I think this might be a little bit more exciting than the free match one. This would obviously be like AI run, so it's the same concept as guild battle, but you don't know who you're going to go up against. And you would go up in levels like the tower. So you would have like 5 floors a week for 7 days, and you get 1 try a day, or you can continue as long as you can if you win. But your health would reset with the reset every day. The way that the tower works right now on Global and JP is complete garbage, Gumi. It's absolutely horrible. So let's say I come home and at 10 o'clock at night or something, I reset it. Or I reset it at 5. Then I come home the next day and I'm busy and I can't do it till 10. Well, you could lose an entire day of the tower during that period because you don't reset it manually the same time. So that should reset with the day just like everything else. And then everything would be dandy. I don't know why you did it like that, but that should be changed. Please. Okay. And then the rewards would be simple, enhancing item, crafting reward, bonuses, etc. And like auto reset, and then everything there would be 99 because this would be like end game content to challenge your strongest teams. And like the fun part is, every week, Gumi, you could put in different units. You don't know what you're going up against. And you could give a little bit, maybe random order, so like one person can't just test it and let everybody else know what's coming. Okay, and just to give you a little idea of what it might look like, it would look something like this. So again, all of them would be 99, floor 1, you'd have all question marks, so you never know what you're going up against. And then as you go up, I meant to put a picture of ore and like gold ore in number 1. Number 2, you get the weak crafting mats, then you get the gold ones that you need 2570 of for an MR. Then you get the other ones like that. And 5, you finally get like the sand level items or the like raid level crafting materials, but only like a handful, like maybe 5 or 10 a pop or something like that. But I think it would be a really cool event, especially because of the randomness. So you kind of have to prepare for the unknown. I think that's cool. All right, so here's another game mode right here. It's based on one of the game modes in Warframe. It also came as a suggestion from one of my guildmates. So you would have an NPC on the map, and you would have to protect them, and if they die, you fail the mission. Now the NPC would have max hate every turn, so all the mobs would go towards that. All mobs would spawn in random locations, so you can't just make a guide and say, oh, this is how it works. So the idea is you always have to react on the fly, and you don't know what's coming. Because if it's fixed every day, it's going to get boring, and it's going to be easy. You just move this character here, you put this character here, and you win. So we don't want anything like that. We want to make the player think. And then you could have a map. Yeah, if you could just piece together like little pieces like a jigsaw to have like a slightly different format, that would be cool. Maybe the NPC could path around the map or something like that. But maybe the NPC has to repair a bridge or something, and you have to protect them while they're repairing the bridge. Or maybe they have to deliver a package, so you have to escort them down the road. And then, wolves will come out of the woods. Bandits will jump down from the hills or appear like archers. So you might want an off-tank, a healer, and like 3 DPS units to do that. And then the longer it goes on, more and more units will just overwhelm the tank. So you have to be quick at killing the units and tanking, and then you have to obviously be able to heal that NPC. So if you take in all healers, you're not going to be able to kill the units. And, in between turns, the guy's going to die. So you have to make it like that. And then you have to make it so if you take in all tanks or whatever, that's not going to work either, because you're going to have to be able to kill the units. So you have to make it so, balanced. All right, so my final idea here is endurance mode. So you're going to test your endurance against different waves of enemies. You'll start off maybe small with, bombs or something like that. Kind of like the weapon ones that don't do much damage even if they explode. Then maybe by like the third wave you'll start getting moral burrows, status effects, harder enemies, and then maybe by wave, like every 5 waves, you get like a mini boss, like an iron giant appears and whatnot. So after you defeat all the enemies of each wave, without resting or anything, they just pop on the screen. Now, there was already an event like this on JP, but this would kind of be a modified version of that. How it worked on JP, there would be units that would come in, and the further you got, the more rewards you get. You get weapon seals and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool, and that's what part of this idea is based on. Now, I think there should be 2 types of rewards. There will be rewards based on what wave you get up to. That will all be fixed. Okay, it could be reset weekly. It could be reset monthly. I think maybe monthly would be better, like once a month. And then also, you could make it cost energy, maybe 30 energy or something like 30, 40 energy to challenge it, just to see how far you can get. That way, Gumi you guys can make money off of people wanting to spend more energy, buy more energy refreshes, and the players could get more rewards, and they could compete for rank, and then at the end of the week or the month, everybody could get rewards based on that. So I think that would be really cool. Not only that, but give like an online version that wouldn't be ranked, a non-ranked online version, but it would still give maybe just crafting mats. So not like the fixed rewards that you're going to get from the single player, but again, like the other suggestion I made, have an online mode for duo or quad so you can encourage team play, okay, and then give maybe crafting rewards or a couple seals here and there, something decent, enough to give incentive to do it, while having fun with your friends or guildmates. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. If you're watching this, I hope you take on some of the suggestions. I'll probably record it in Japanese and put it over there as well, and redo all the sides, obviously. But I hope everyone watching it enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. Please let me know, if you think you can make some of my ideas better as a suggestion to Gumi, or if you have any new ideas that would help improve this game, bring in new players, keep the current players, and just make it more fun overall. Because right now, like I said at the beginning, it's pretty much 99% auto farm, and honestly, that's bull crap. For a game that has so much potential, there should be a lot more like manual content, fun content that you can do solo or with your friends and whatnot. So Please comment below. Let's help make this game better. And Gumi, if you watch this, please take on some of these suggestions. I think it'll really help this game out. I've been playing games for over 30 years, so I have a lot of experience. I know what players want, and a lot of these would work in this game, and I think it'll really add to the overall experience. So I hope everyone likes, and I'll see you on the next episode of FFBE War of the Visions. Take care.